Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another review on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Girl Reunion Part 1. We gotta talk about it, okay? So, first off, shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis because one thing she was gonna do was promote her company. So, she made sure, or at least not her company, but her nonprofit or her charity or whatever. So, she made sure to be in attendance. Andy made sure she was in attendance. She also renamed some things so that it could be complimentary to Miss Dorit. So Dorit was pretty happy, as well as all of the ladies. She gifted them with a Halloween pumpkin, and it had their faces carved in it. Super cute, and that was also slick promo for the movie Halloween Ends, and I'm definitely going to check it out. But let's be very clear, Halloween will never end. They've made too much money off of it. They're going to turn around in a few years and revamp it. Watch what I tell you, and it might include some new characters. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that the show can continue to go on from that moment forward, okay? Because it's kind of like if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? We making so much money, why stop? You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, girl, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Andy ends up talking to Garcelle. Garcelle speaks on her son being attacked on social media. That was like the first thing we really got into right out the gate. Okay. So, what happened was someone told him that if his daddy wasn't white, okay, he would have been had a knee on his neck. Now, that is some bullshit right there. Okay, that right there is a whole motherfucking lot of. Okay, so she had every right to want to do an investigation, research, cuss motherfuckers out because y'all really didn't have to go that far. Okay, especially to a child. I believe he was 13, 14 years old at the time. Like, he ain't do nothing. If your beef is with his mama, let it be with his mama. Like, what the hell is going on? And the fans definitely get a little too crazy, if you ask me, when it comes to these housewife shows. Okay, y'all need to ease back just a little bit. Okay, just scoot back. Okay, now Lisa Rinna said that she spoke up and she ended up having Garcelle and her son's back, and Garcelle really appreciated that. Okay, Garcelle felt like people may not have wanted her on this show at all right, of course she's the only black woman on the show, so she feels like because people didn't want her on the show, their way of probably getting her off the show was for them to go and attack her son. All right. So, and hoping that she would probably quit because of that. And I feel like you guys are going to have to do more than that to get Miss Girl to quit, or for Bravo to just, release her. And then now that The Real is no longer on TV right now, now that the show has been canceled, I don't see Garcelle leaving Real Housewives of Beverly Hills no time soon. So y'all might as well get cute, comfy, and used to Miss Girl because I think that she'll be around for a while, in my opinion. Okay, she did say that she opened up an investigation to the matter, so she's hoping to find out who the hell was behind the threats that were sent to her son. And I do believe the threat came by way of text message, so somebody had to have leaked that baby's number in order for somebody else to just anonymously send him such a text. You feel what I'm saying? So I cannot wait to find out the details on who was behind the threat that came to this boy. Okay, and I feel like we may find it out on the next season. I can't say that Diana had anything to do with it, but I'm not really seeing Diana being welcomed back for another season. So if by any chance she was behind it, I don't know if we'll fully find it out because she won't be on the show. You feel what I'm saying? But either way, girl, I hope we get some details. All right. So Dorit speaks on her robbery, and she denies all the allegations about people saying that she or her husband may have had something to do with their home being burglarized. Right. And Kyle then says that the person that burglarized her home, and see, Kyle often does this thing where when somebody else is speaking on what's happened to them or what they got going on, she likes to jump into the conversation and include what the hell she got going on, right? But then when it was Sutton, and I'm so glad somebody brought this up at the reunion, when Sutton brings up something to show herself relatable to the conversation, you want to tell Sutton that she's wrong. Kyle, you always do this. You always do this. This moment honestly was about Dorit. Not that we really cared for real, but the conversation was more so about Dorit. Why are you inserting yourself into her conversation? So Kyle goes on to let us know that the person that ended up burglarizing her home, she says that that person gave her a call and says, "Hi, I'm the person that robbed your home, and I also did jail time for it. I have your items. Your items are at my grandmother's house, X, Y, and Z. If you want the items, then hey, guess what? You can purchase them back from me. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind? Did you hear what I said? Are you out of your mind? Right? So then, of course, Kyle ended up buying some of the items back. From my understanding, at least that's how she made it seem. Like she didn't get everything back, but she did get some things back. Okay. So I'm just like, whoa, girl. All right then, Miss Kyle. If that's what y'all want to do, is definitely giving weirdo, because I'm thinking to myself, one, that was a weirdo move for them to even reach out to you, and then two, I feel like it's a weirdo move for you to even make a deal for your items and your belongings. Girl, I would have pressed charges again on him. Okay, for harassment and for him having my items. So if people feel like you may have a connection to something that happened to you, I wouldn't be surprised. Why? Because who communicates with the person that has just burglarized their home and give them money for their own items? Not making sense, girl. Somebody probably gonna bring that up next season. Let's keep going, okay? So the conversation gets to Crystal's eating disorder, right? And Kyle was asked, why was she okay? Why was it okay for her to bring up her eating disorder when talking to Crystal, but it wasn't okay for Sutton to bring up her miscarriage when talking to Diana about hers? I'm like, great. The timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. Okay. Especially following the conversation we just had. So Kyle admits that her behavior was very terrible at Garcelle's party. I do not recall her actually apologizing for anything, but she was just admitting that she had poor behavior. Okay. I think she was drinking or whatever, and that's just where she was at. So she say, okay. Now Dorit is called out for telling everybody that Crystal was throwing up. She throws up like every day. Now, some part of me is kind of like, now, Crystal, I feel like you did tell us this, that is what you do. I feel like you told us that, but then I also, if you didn't tell us that, I understand where you were coming from with being upset with Dorit about it, because if I'm having a conversation with you about something going on with me, that's the conversation that I'm having with you. It's A and B. I'll let C, D, E, F, whoever else a part of it, X, Y, Z, whatever, I will let them know when I'm ready to let them know. This is me and you having a bonding moment. You feel what I'm saying? So when the conversation was brought up, Crystal says that it was not okay for Dorit to do what she did. And Dorit literally looked over at this woman like in shock, like, what? Oh my God. Like, are you like, wait, you're joking, right? Like, no, you gotta be kidding me. Like, are you for real? For real, girl? And I'm like, Dorit, you knew you was out of line. Like when they did the flashback, you could just tell how you gave the ladies the information. You knew it was something that you probably should not be telling them, but hoping that she doesn't have an issue with it. Like it's okay. Right. So anywho, Dorit ended up apologizing to her. Okay. She definitely ended up apologizing to her. And, that was that. She was just like, girl, I apologize. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Yeah, you're right. Touche, BIZ. Had I known it was going to affect you like that, girl, I would have never said that. So, you know, it is what it is. So, Dorit definitely apologized to Crystal. And I think Crystal kind of accepted it in the moment, okay? So, now we're talking about Sutton and her dark comments, right? And when Crystal was asked, like, what did she mean? You know, did she really feel that way or whatever? Crystal says, well, listen, you know, at the time that me and Sutton had our talk originally when I first came onto the season, I didn't really know her that well, right? But after spending time getting to know her, I can say that I don't feel that way about her today, you know? So Andy says, but you knew her for a year though. So you had already known her. And then you brought up the conversation again, saying that there were that she said some very dark things, right? But I kind of just felt like with Crystal, she was trying to say like, at that time they were dark. I felt like that's what she was saying to the ladies, like, no guys, trust me, like there were some dark things that were said, right? And she didn't say exactly what it was. I think everybody else assumed that it was a racist thing based on the type of conversation that they were having, right? But I think that Crystal can be like a very sensitive person, a hypersensitive person. So for me, I don't think it took much for Sutton to say anything for her to deem it as dark, right? I didn't think that she was insinuating. I think that's how the ladies perceived it on their own. I think they perceived it that way, but that's just me, okay? But I do think that Crystal was trying to flip the conversation, and she said that she tried to flip it and say that it was the tone of the conversation that made it dark. Now, see, that's where it did get flipped for me, because it was like you didn't say initially that it was the tone. You made it seem as though she said some things that were dark, right? But now you're flipping it and saying that it was more so the tone of the conversation. Right, but when you were talking to the ladies, that's not what you said. So it definitely sounded like she said some things to offend you, but you didn't clarify whether or not it was racist things to offend you or not. So those ladies made their own interpretation and their own perception on what it was that you said. And I think Erica did mention it. She said when you don't open up and tell people what it is, you leave room for them to create their own narrative and what they think was said, which they did. They all assumed that it was probably a racist comment, right? And that's where all of this issue went. So Crystal, you were being a bit, vague. You didn't tell people what was really going on, but some part of me kind of felt like I'm glad that you didn't. And you know what, I'm even more glad that you didn't tell them what the hell was said, because now we're gonna see during this reunion a clear example of how they treat y'all differently. Lisa Rinna sat up here and wasn't really giving us all the information on everything that Kathy said, right? Especially based on the last episode, she wasn't really giving us a lot. If she would have known some of the things, that if those ladies would have known what Kathy said about them, but she ain't really go in detail for real. But I want to see if everybody gonna be jumping down Lisa Rinna's throat for the same that they was jumping down your throat for, because you didn't speak up and you didn't say exactly what Sutton said. So we gonna see if Miss Lisa Rinna is gonna tell us exactly what Sutton said, or she gonna continue to hype it up, because she kept raising the stakes. Oh my God, she went off on Kyle. Oh my God, she talked about the ladies. Oh my God, it was so rude and disrespectful. It made me feel so uncomfortable. Oh my God, like she just kept trying to raise the stakes, but she wasn't really telling us exactly what was said. For real, for real. So that's why I'm kind of glad Crystal ain't even open her mouth, because now y'all about to have a clear indicator on how what Crystal was telling y'all from the very beginning. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck, basically. Okay? She said that in the beginning of the season. Anyway, Garcelle, no, Kyle tried to tell her that, oh, that's different. Like, whatever you're talking about, like, girl, that was different. Like, that's not the same thing. Something Kyle was trying to tell her, like, basically Kyle was trying to call her out by saying you changing the story. Like, that's not what you said. Okay, what you said was X, Y, and Z, and see, now you over here changing it. Okay, so Kyle tried to call her out about that. And then Crystal was like, but Garcelle, it was my experience. Okay, it was my experience, right? And then Garcelle said, girl, we're not talking about your experience, we're talking about what you're implying. And I'm like, yeah, but she didn't imply racism though. She just told y'all that it was dark. Y'all implied what it was. That's just what I think. Now I do think she, there is a little bit of fault, because if the darkness was the tone, you should have said her tone was very dark. There were very dark things that were said based on her tone, right? So she could have probably said that, but instead you made it seem like she actually said certain things. So that's why I feel like you are wrong, but you didn't say that she was a racist. Like, I'm not, girl. Y'all do what y'all want to do with that. Anyway, y'all interpret it that way, and we gonna move on. So Sutton says that she understands where she's coming from, based on last year. She understood where Crystal was coming from based on their conversation and things last year. She says, listen, at the end of the day, I done moved on, so I think that everybody else sitting around here should move on as well. And Crystal had asked Kyle a question, and I loved it, because Crystal was just like, girl, why do you like to just continue to sit in SHI, like, when everybody else has moved on? Like, why do you like to continue to bring up the same shit? I don't even think Kyle had an answer for her, right? Anyway, I know Crystal has said, let's make this a learning experience and let's move on. And then Andy said, well, the lesson or the learning experience, girl, is don't accuse somebody of saying dark things on television if you ain't gonna open up and say nothing else about it. And I'm like, that's right, Andy, but also make sure you look right over there to your left and make sure you had this same motherfucking conversation with Miss Lisa Rinna. Okay? So anyway, Erica and Lisa says, and don't do that and don't back it up, right? And I'm just over here like, I see y'all raggedy heifers, Erica and Lisa. Y'all sitting over here calling out Crystal, not, for her bringing this up to the forefront, but not wanting to back up her claims or her statement. And I want to see if y'all gonna do the same thing, okay? But Crystal at a place where she just like, girl, I just regret it. Like, girl, I regret it so bad, girl. Like, I just regret bringing this up so bad, honey. I regret it, and I understand, ma'am. Okay? So anyway, Kyle was questioned about calling Crystal a dramatic millennial. So Kyle didn't like that Crystal said that she was isolated or something like that. And Crystal is like, did somebody break into your house though, girl? Like, let's talk about, like, did somebody break into your house? No, no, no. I'm sorry, not isolated. Cal said that she didn't like that. That Crystal used the word violated. She used very strong keywords when it came to Sutton, and she didn't like that, right? So then Crystal said, "Well, wasn't your house broken into? Like, didn't you feel violated with what happened?" And Kyle tries again to make it a difference. Like, girl, that's not the same thing. That's one thing Kyle will always do, is try and tell you how what you're experiencing is not the same as what they're experiencing. And it's like, how you gonna tell me what my experience is? Like, are you out your fucking mind? Like, once again. So then Crystal, no, yeah. So Crystal said, did somebody break into your house? Weren't you violated? Kyle's like, girl, no, that's not the same thing. And I'm sitting over here listening, like, I see where you're going, Crystal, but you're absolutely right, okay? It's not the same thing, all right? Because clearly Kyle was not violated enough for her to turn around and pay money. First of all, entertain a conversation with the person that robbed her ass, and then turn around and pay them money to get her stuff back. So obviously Miss Girl was not violated enough, because for me, that don't make no damn sense, okay? So maybe she right. Maybe it's not the same. So Crystal comes for Kyle and ask her, why you always harping on people's words instead of getting to know them and their experiences and their truth? And then Kyle says, because your truth wasn't your truth. Baby, listen, I loved how Crystal piped up on Kyle, but I also feel like Crystal should have cussed Kyle the dog out, because Kyle be doing too much, only for us to see in the next coming parts of the reunion that she gonna be up there crying, trying to play victim. Woe is me. Oh my God, I don't want to lose my family. Oh my God, all this other. Girl, shut up. Okay. So anyway, Crystal and Kyle are having issues, or at least I feel like Kyle is the one that really wants to have issues with Crystal. She's bothered. And I also think that she just sees Crystal as weak out of everybody. I think she definitely sees her as the weakest link. So that's another reason why I think she comes for her, right? So then Crystal she did speak on the 14 Friends, right? Crystal says that after she started the show, there were ladies that stopped talking to her. And Kyle says, but those were ladies that were asked to be on the show. Those were ladies that asked to be on the show. And then Crystal was like, well, after I started doing it, they stopped talking to me. But there were issues before. So Kyle was trying to catch her up in a lie. She said, so y'all stopped. She said, so y'all fell out before you got on the show, so it had nothing to do with the show. Like, whatever it was like Kyle was trying to manipulate what this woman was saying. And it's like, if you just let her get it out and say what she has to say, then maybe we'll all get an understanding. Crystal strikes me as one of those people that has issues communicating at times, and sometimes they have to write it out to better get their thoughts out sometimes when they could be under pressure in conversations. And I can relate to that, because I feel like I've been in spaces like that. Like, I'm quick on my feet, don't get me wrong, but then based on the conversation, sometimes I feel like, okay, I ain't get all my points out. I got so many things going through my head right now. Like, I'm gonna get to it, like, maybe I just need to write it all out to better express what it is that I'm trying to say, right? So I feel like I understand Crystal with that, but Kyle was trying to, like, immediately catch her up and stuff, and make her come off as though she was lying. But I feel like, you know how you have those friends and everybody, I just feel like it makes sense. Like, everybody can relate. If those people fell out with you after you got on this show, that was because they was already hating on you before you got on the damn show. Right now, there also could be situations where maybe you start thinking that you was better than them, and they stopped talking to you after you got on the show. Or it also could have been that they were doing little passive aggressive things, like they ain't really feeling you for real, and then once you get on the show, they didn't expect you to get on, they expected themselves to get on, and maybe they felt the way and they just stopped talking to you. But there's always two sides to every story, and we barely got Crystal's side to that story. But either way, the people ain't on the show, so it really shouldn't even be that deep of a conversation, okay? So Crystal is like, well, after I started doing the show or whatever, like, that's when they stopped talking to me. Kyle tells her that she was flipping the story because she had said that it was before the show. And I'm like, yeah, Crystal, you did kind of say that before the show. And then as I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I see what she's saying. I feel like I see what she's trying to say. And at the end of the day, I just feel like Kyle wanted the issue with Crystal so bad. And I feel like it's because she see her as weak, as I said before. Anyway, so Diana. It's time for Diana to chime in. So Diana chimes in and says that her book is not about escorting or anything, and that she's never met Jeffrey Epstein. Every question that Andy asked her, she kind of threw it to the side. And I said, Diana is full of shit, and ain't nobody finna make me think nothing different. Period. Diana tries to clean up what she meant by black content creator. Crystal said at first she was on her ass about it, but then once she starts talking to her in person, she realized like, oh my gosh, she really doesn't understand the concept. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. This the same woman that be trying to act like she don't know what a retail story is. Like this the same woman. Like it just don't make sense. Like how you gonna be poor and rich at the same time and then try to act like you unrelatable? Like at one, she loves talking about going back to her childhood, talking about what she's experienced, what she's been through, X, Y, Z. I feel like Diana is a newfound rich woman. So how is it? Do you not know of certain things, right? So Diana strikes me as a person that doesn't always give us the 100% truth. And I think she understood and knew exactly what she meant by a black content creator because it was specific down to the words. Black content creator, like it was specific. She knew exactly what she was saying, and she knew exactly who she was targeting and who and what she was coming for. And I feel like Crystal just gave her whatever answer to not really argue with her because she wasn't trying to argue with nobody else on the stage. For real, for real. But whatever, you know what I'm saying? She should have kept it a book. So much she didn't think that lady really understood. Now that BIT understood. She knew what was going on. Okay, so then Kyle, what I thought was so interesting to me was Kyle, when Crystal's talking, is quick. You so quick to jump up and have a conversation and check Crystal on how she's changing, switching up fucking stories. But when it comes to Diana, you didn't jump your ass off the porch to check her and get her together and tell her, no, what you said was, no, what you really meant was. You didn't do that. But then you had the audacity when it's time for Garcelle to have this conversation with Diana. You want to turn to her as though and better relate to Garcelle what Diana is trying to say. Are you out your damn mind? Like, I do not understand it. Like, girl, I just let's keep going. So Erica praises Diana for donating to the victims because Diana was like, I can't be on a platform or on a show and people are doing all this talking and conversations about stuff, but nobody's making moves or giving anything. Girl, bye. And Erica was appreciative of it because she's like, girl, you giving them money, helping me to not have to get them shit. So go ahead. Do it in my honor and in my favor, girl. Go ahead. Do what you gonna do. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. You gave that money to them people after the black content creator situation because you thought that it was going to go away and the people was going to like you. Girl, you did that for some cleanup and it did not help, okay? Now let's get to Garcelle. Garcelle speaks on thinking thinking that Diana was behind the trolls that was coming for her son. Let me tell you something. I was loving Garcelle. Garcelle came. She was ready. She was ready to be very, very clear with these ladies. Garcelle came there in her all black. And then Andy had the audacity to ask this woman, is that your mood? And she said, yeah, like I said, yes, all black on black on black on black on black, black on black on black on black. Yes, I loved it. Like, let's get ready to handle some things. This is the mood. This is the mood. I'm bringing this energy. Let's get into it, okay? So Diana says, you have a, no. So Garcelle was like, I felt like Diana was behind it or whatever. She broke down the text message and stuff, right? So Diana says, oh, you have a very low opinion of me to think that I would be behind bullying a 14-year-old. I wanted Garcelle to say exactly what Toya from Married to Medicine said. Girl, I don't know you. I don't know what you will do. I don't know you like that, girl. I don't know what you will do. Well, I wanted her to say that to her. Like, girl, we don't know you. You have a very low, maybe I do. You right. Yeah, I do got a low opinion of you, girl, because I don't know you. I don't know what you will do. Okay. So then Garcelle calls out Diana for sending her a threatening message. I said, girl, not her sending you a threatening message. Oh, wow. And they actually ended up posting what that message was, girl. And I said, not Diana over here with the bullshit, but let's talk about it, okay? So the text message from what we were able to see says, believe me when I say if anything happens to my children, you will be held legally responsible, and no Bravo contract will stop me. I guess by making Cherie take down my birthday post, you wanted to solidify me as a racist and actually ruin my life. That's what she said. Now, granted, we didn't get the other conversation to know what Diana was responding to, but we saw the threatening message of where she said, if anything happens to me and my kids, I will be holding you legally responsible. And it's just funny to me because Garcelle is already there a step ahead of you and she ain't even tell you. You feel what I'm saying? She already got a PI on it, investigating. And I'm sure if she finds out that you're behind it, then you will be sued accordingly. And I don't think Garcelle gonna play with you when it comes to that, ma'am. Okay, so there's that. What else? Yeah, so Diana thinks Garcelle should have removed her name from the text message before her son posted it, right? So the message said something like, if your daddy wasn't white, you'll have a knee on your neck, whatever, like you would have been had a knee on your neck, whatever, leave Diana alone, whatever. So then the son screenshotted it and put, you've gone too far or whatever on the message, and put it up on social media. He didn't even think to take Diana's name out of it. He's a kid. Ain't nobody thinking about that. Hell, even adults post stuff and don't realize it. And then maybe minutes after it being up, they be like, oh snap, I didn't even know that was there. Let me take that down. Da, 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 da. It's a common human error, right? And you think that this lady's supposed to be sitting up here protecting you after you just got your ass drugged because of the things that you said about black content creators? Girl, you are hilarious. So then this is when Kyle turns to Garcelle and tries to explain to her what Diana said. Baby, the way Garcelle repositioned herself, the way she went and repositioned herself, girl, I was here for that. I was like, yes, get in her mother. Do you hear me? Get into it. She was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that while I'm over here trying to protect my son, I got to sit up here and try and protect y'all motherfuckers too? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. No, ma'am. See, y'all got me utterly and the absolute most fucked up. Okay. I'm not going to sit up here and play with y'all. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit up here and play with y'all. I was just so here for her when she snapped. I felt like she snapped in a as classy way as she could possibly clap on her. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really appreciate that because I don't have to protect all of y'all. Girl, my job as a mom is only for me to protect my son. Then here go Erica is talking about something. You don't have to protect me. You don't have. And I was like, Erica, sit back with that old whack ass hairstyle that you have and shut up. Shut it the up, girl, because you have been walking around for the past few seasons ever since this case dropped, and honestly, you've been begging your co-stars to fucking protect you because the way that Sutton would get in your SHI and everybody else felt the same way, but Sutton was the only one that had the balls to bring it to your face. You would sit up there and go off on her. And the way you went off on Sutton was sending a sign to all of the other ladies to not comfort me. If anything, have my back, protect me, not discuss it, don't bring it up, all this other stuff. So for you to sit up there and tell this woman that she don't have to protect you, girl, good night. Good night, because you've been begging for that from your castmates for a few seasons now. So anyway, girl, okay, I was like, she done made me mad. Anyway, so Diana trying to play down the threat for me. And I didn't like that either. Trying to tell Garcelle, oh, in my country, girl, you ain't in your country and your ass ain't been in your country in a minute. What we talking about, girl? That was back in the day and I understand it, but girl, we are here right now. Okay, let's not talk about what was, let's talk about what's now for this moment. And I'm not trying to downplay what you got going on like you trying to do me. Okay, but right now the conversation at hand is my son. Diana trying to sit up there and say it's not the same threat. I'm from a place where when people make threats, they follow through on those threats. So you don't think that they're going to follow through on the threats against her fucking son? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? You have to be dumb. You have to be stupid. So I didn't really like how she was trying to come at that lady. Garcelle didn't like it. It was like she was purposely trying to not understand Garcelle's point. Garcelle told Andy, I'm done talking to her. Like, I don't have, I'm not going to continue to talk to stupidity. I'm just not going to do it, okay? So Garcelle calls her out for coming for her online constantly, because even when she said she ain't going to talk to her, she had a few more things to say. Like, BIT, you was coming for me online. Listen, girl, I ain't saying that I hate you, but I'm just letting you know that I don't fuck with you. I ain't got nothing for you, girl. I just want to be left alone. That's all I ask, girl. You go your way, I'm going to go mine. Do not fuck with me and my family. I don't rock with you. Your energy is not energy that I can take. I see through you. Leave me the hell alone. That's all I ask. And I was so here for Garcelle. I said, yes, baby. Get in her SHI. Absolutely, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here for it. Okay. Yes, ma'am. But that's pretty much all we got in reunion part one, honey. We'll be seeing what the people gonna be bringing to us come reunion part two. Okay. I want you guys to go ahead and hop down in the comments. Let me know how you felt about the reunion part one, honey. And also like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at jamithatsme. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.